You come to me on the day of my daughter's wedding.
On the day I shit my pants.
Dude, what's going on, everybody? Critic and the Common Man here. You all saw the thumbnail. We are jumping into it today with a review of Capone. You can find Capone on Amazon Prime. Amazon Video was just released on there not too long ago. It is included. Wow. Okay, so yeah, this is one that had some notoriety for a little while. It looked like it was going to be pretty big in the
Tom
theaters.
Hardy, man.
Yeah, Tom Hardy. He's, the usually phenomenal. I would say always phenomenal. I don't know how I felt about this one, but Capone was an interesting story. So this is not Capone is not the first time that they've done an Al Capone movie. Mm. There's been a few movies that basically are all talking about Al Capone or his charades, his crimes, his life. This is the first time, however, somebody decided to take
all of the interesting stuff
stupidest out. Hey, let's take the stupidest part of Al Capone's life and make a movie on it.
So you liked it then?
Yeah, so I loved it. I loved it, man. Oh, my God. All right, Chris. What did you think? Initial reaction to Capone. What did you think of this one?
So the first few minutes, I was like, okay, this is going to be an interesting movie. It's going to be a different take on his life. There's going to be some drama. It's going to be some family stuff. Sorry, I'm peeking a little. And very quickly I realized that, how about now? There we go. I very quickly realized that it was just a very slow movie. So my initial reaction, like just within the first, I'd say 20 minutes, I was like, what is the point of this movie? Like where...
Yep.
I get it. I get that you're telling the story of the end of his life, like they wanted something real, and I understand that. But at least give us some sort of, I don't know, some sort of drama, something to kind of push us. But it was literally just a really depressing look at, like, you don't even dislike him or like him. You just feel bad that the guy hasn't died. That's how you feel the entire time. You're just like, why have you let him live? Like.
Yeah, just put him down.
Yeah.
He's an old dog, man. Just put him down. Dude, so my initial reaction to this, I agree with you. This movie was horrendously slow. My initial reaction to this was he looked fucking terrifying.
Yeah, dude, especially later when his eyes are all red.
Jesus Christ. Dude, he didn't look like a sick person. He looked fucking he looked like something out of my nightmares.
Yeah, he was.
And okay, so I had to fact check all of this because it had me confused as to what the heck I was watching and what was going on. But basically, so if you watch this movie and you didn't know, where you fact check it, they mentioned it in the movie that he has like neurosyphilis. Mm-hmm. He has like syphilis.
Now, what is that? What does that mean? Is that like a later version of syphilis? Like it's invaded like so
I think it's
far
just
into his
spread
body.
To his right. It's spread into his. But dude, like Al Capone got syphilis when he was like 15 years old. I don't know how. I don't know if it was like sexually transmitted. I don't know anything about syphilis, but he got it when he was like 15. And so I guess when you've had it your whole life like that, it just sort of takes you over, this, horrible disease or virus, whatever it is. And so he has neurosyphilis, which is why he's going insane. And that's true. That was actually real. And then the first thing you'll notice about this movie is how horrendous he looks. And he's got those huge scars over the side of his face, which again, it is said that Al Capone, he was nicknamed Scarface. Yeah, and like the story, I guess, was that he was working like security at a nightclub for somebody that he knew, like one of the mobsters that he knew hired him to work security, and he was hitting on this dude's wife who was trying to come in.
Al Capone.
So the dude takes out a blade. Yeah, Al Capone was. So the dude takes out a blade and slices his face up. But okay, if you look at pictures of Al Capone. Yeah, he had like a scar on his face. Dude, he didn't fucking look like that.
That's actually one of my biggest things, is that he didn't look anything like Al Capone, in my opinion.
My God, dude, he looked horrifying.
Yeah, he looked like Al Capone's reflection. I don't know.
Jesus, they made him look like a monster, dude. He looked like Freddy Krueger. It was horrendous. Oh my God.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
and it wasn't even well done. The makeup wasn't great.
No, it wasn't great. You could tell. He
had powder all over his face and stuff. Yeah, just
right. So and again, Al Capone had a very interesting life. He's like, what was that? The Valentine's Day Massacre or whatever it was that he's known for. He killed a bunch of people or had people killed. He didn't actually do the shooting. But there's all these interesting points in Al Capone's life that you could make a story on. The problem is they already have. You can find movies about Al Capone's life. A lot of them are old. Some of them, I think there was one. I'm trying to remember. There was basically a crime movie not that long ago that was about Al Capone, basically, and it was pretty good. But it's like they took, okay, they're like, what else let's milk Al Capone for all he's worth. What part of his life hasn't been made a movie yet? How about the part where he's demented, he has dementia, and he just shits his pants? And let's do a 2-hour movie about that, where he's just insane.
And the climax can be a shootout that didn't actually happen, where he's walking around with a heavy diaper.
Watching Al Capone, watching Tom Hardy walk around as a shitty-looking Al Capone with a shit-filled diaper, shooting people with a Tommy gun. I was like, this movie never should have been made.
Yeah, no, absolutely
This
not.
movie never
I never thought I
made.
would say that I would rather watch Artemis Fowl than another movie.
God.
But, oh my God.
Oh my God, dude. Yeah, this was the wrong... There's a reason why nobody's made a movie about this point in Al Capone's life yet. Because it's just... It's not a substantial part of his life. He was in, Alcatraz for a while. He was in prison for a while. Went completely insane due to the neurosyphilis. I don't even know if the part where he was saying he stashed away $10 million was real, or if they just made that up.
His stash was never found.
Nothing I read about said anything about Al Capone talking about, hey, I have a $10 million stash of money somewhere.
I feel like
they just made that shit up.
I feel like the entire movie was speculative and completely dramatized for no reason.
Very speculative. Even in the way they portrayed Miami. So he's supposed to be in Miami, and dude, like that, I live in Florida, okay? I live in Orlando, not that far away. That pissed me off. Like, dude, everywhere they look, there's like a 10-foot alligator just chilling out, and like, I say that, but literally we had like 2 snakes in my backyard the other day. Like, I thought it was I feel like they portrayed Florida the way New Yorkers assume Florida is. Like, you just go out in the ocean and alligators come up and eat your shit, and you have to like shoot them in the head.
Are there alligators in the ocean?
No, not in the ocean, but
so.
I'm assuming that they were... I think that was supposed to be in, like, the intercoastal waterway. Like, it wasn't really supposed to be in the ocean because, no, dude. I'm pretty freaking positive there's no alligators swimming around in the ocean.
Like
now, you can fact-check me on that?
Yeah, I don't know.
I may be wrong, but I don't think there's alligators swimming around in the ocean out there. I've never heard of that. Like, in the Atlantic, there's, like, alligators. I don't think that exists.
I don't think so either.
Now, I think what was supposed to happen was they were supposed to be, like, in the intercoastal waterways where there are alligators. It just looked like the ocean because there wasn't anything around them. So let's just assume that's where they were, I guess. But, dude, like, the whole thing, it was just, like, the entire... You know, they're surrounded by swamp. He just looks at, look out there. And he looks out there, and there's like a damn 10-foot alligator just chilling out.
That was Al Capone, right? That you just did Al Capone?
That was Al
good.
Capone. Okay. Also, what was the point of casting Tom Hardy for this role? Dude, you could have slapped that makeup on anybody and just said, just grunt and shit. That's
there was
basically
a guy,
your role.
Gino, the guy that he shoots. I feel like Gino looked more like Al Capone than Tom Hardy looked like Al Capone.
Yeah.
Like he just Al Capone had like the big cheeks and you know what? Here, let me put a side by side right here. Here's Al Capone.
Yeah,
Here's Tom Hardy's
show
Al Capone
to the people. It was just so stupid, dude. Like they have this. They picked the least interesting part of Al Capone's life, and they tried to basically send him off with this like interesting movie, and they just made him look like a complete moron.
Who the fuck wrote this script and went, "This is perfect"? Like somebody wrote this script and went, I don't care how many people he shot. I don't care what he did. This is the part that people are going to want to see. Academy Award, Tom Hardy, we got to get him. We have to get Tom Hardy.
I'm surprised that Tom Hardy would read this script and even decide to do this.
Although he's kind of known for being a weird actor, like a method actor. But the thing is, like, we've seen him in such good shit, you know? Like, he's so versatile. And I don't think he did a bad job. I don't think Tom Hardy did a bad job. He did a pretty good job at playing a crazy, psychopathic mobster. It just wasn't the Al Capone we wanted to see, and it was just an uninteresting script.
It was just fucking stupid,
Yeah.
dude. Like, I was sitting there, I was like, what is happening? And they started to try to give you that, like, Shutter Island feel where it's like, is he actually insane? Is this actually happening? But then it actually was happening. Like, they kind of take that away really fast. Like, he's looking in the woods, and you see some mobsters running around, and you're like, oh, this is interesting. Yeah, like, he's going crazy. And so this movie's going to be about him, like, you know, like, going into the woods and, like, you know, like, fighting off these guys who may or may not exist. It's like some Beautiful Mind kind of stuff. Like, this is cool. But then you find out really quickly that they actually do exist, and they're just trying to find out if he has $10 million, basically.
What? Like, literally, they I don't know, man. This script, I felt like the script was written by somebody who has no idea how to write a script, because they put in so many different characters that should have gotten some sort of arc or some sort of fulfillment or something, and none of it. Like, they put in those guys in the woods, and then nothing happens with them. You get one interaction between him and the FBI guy, and then that was it. It's just Al Capone shitting himself, and then, and it's funny because that sounds like a joke, but that actually happened.
It's literally the whole movie.
Yeah.
Why did we even watch this, dude? Why did we even watch this fucking movie? Are you serious? Why did they make this? Why did they make this movie, dude? Why did they even make this fucking movie? Literally, oh my God. Like, I start out, I'm like, this is going to be awesome, man. It's Al Capone. This is going to be cool. Like, let's not, fuck the prohibition. Let's not do any of the killing of him doing any, like, coordinating gang stuff. I'm thinking, all right, they just let him out of prison. He's going to be pissed. He's going to be running some business from his home. This is going to be perfect, dude. This will be a cool movie. And he's going to, like, get sent off in, like, a big massacre. And then I realized when I'm reading facts about Al Capone's life that nothing happened in that point in his life.
Yeah.
He just retired in Miami and went insane.
Yep.
Like, you don't make a movie about that part of his life, dude. That's not interesting.
Okay.
That's just stupid.
I want to make
dude.
a movie about Van Gogh. But before he was a painter.
Was 7 years old.
Yeah. Before all the painting. Who cares about the painting?
Yeah,
like,
right.
That's not interesting.
I want to make a movie about Van Gogh when he was an infant, and
Yeah.
we're just gonna have him shitting in his diaper the whole time, and then we're just gonna bring it to market. This movie was horrible.
It was weird, yeah.
To me, there was really no reason why it needed to be made. Now, okay, all right, whew, let's take a breath because I'm trying here.
I know.
Some people somewhere must have liked this movie. I have some questions that I wanted to ask you because maybe you picked up on this a little bit more than I did because it kind of went right over my head. I feel like they tried to kind of inject this movie with some symbology, with like the balloon and his son, like his other son.
Tony.
Timmy? Was it
Tony.
Timmy? Tony. Hey,
Which,
Tony.
we're really quick, again, pointless character. He's in the movie a handful of times. I'm going to be Tony right now. This is me being Tony.
Hello? Who's there? Tony? Hey, Tony, is that you on that end of this phone, Tony? Give some life to this movie, Tony. Tony, are you there? There you go. Wow. You should send that out on your
And then at the
casting
very
reel,
end.
whoever the director. Yeah. Oh my God, dude.
It just made no sense.
Nothing happened in this movie. Nothing of substance happened.
There was no
in this
climax.
movie.
It was just a dive into madness. That's what it was.
The most it was.
With
the most
no
exciting
payoff
thing that
as to
happened in
why.
this movie was his like flashbacks. But yeah, so they tried to inject some symbology in this movie, and I just didn't get it. What was like the golden balloon, and like the flashbacks and stuff that he was having? It just I was not.
We saw the gold balloons in the painting on the wall. But
right,
I don't
saw
know
like when he
what-
was having that like vision of that party that he was at. There was like the gold balloon was going through the crowd. Was the gold balloon supposed to be like him trying to like find his son, his like original son, and he was like reminiscing about that part in his life? Because when his other son is looking at his paintings and he's like, "Who's this, Pa? Who's this?" And he's like, "Donnie."
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
like, that's basically like I guess
That was
that
really
was like
good.
supposed to. Yeah. Tom Hardy, there you.
We're losing our shit at this movie, dude. I'm broke.
It was just so stupid, dude. It was so stupid. Thank God we didn't pay money for this, man. If this had been like, $4.99 rent now, I would be writing a strong.
where did you watch
to
it?
Amazon. I watched it on Prime.
Was it free?
I'm pretty sure it was included in Prime, man.
I fucking
Oh, no.
I totally paid for it.
Oh, dude, did you really?
Yeah, I fucking did.
Damn scalpers. I paid $20 for this DVD.
I got the bonus features.
I got the extended version, dude. It shows them changing his diapers.
Oh my god.
It was just so stupid, dude. If I was Al Capone, like, dude,
This
Al
is going to be
Capone
our
is
most
rolling
interesting episode, just because of how
Al Capone was rolling in his grave, dude. He's rolling in his grave. This was insulting. Honestly, this was insulting. I mean, seriously, this was fucking insulting.
Well, because you're right. They tried to add, like, they tried to add the symbolism, and they tried to add the.
I didn't get any of it, dude. If I die, listen to me, Chris. Listen to me. If I die, and somebody makes a movie about us, and it's just me sitting in this podcast set shitting my pants, do not let them put that movie out there to the public, dude. Like, I would be so mad if I was like one of Al Capone's kids that went into hiding or whatever, and I'm like, oh, another movie about my dad. Let's watch this movie about Pa Tony. Let's watch a movie about Pa. And then it's literally just you having to clean up his poop for the whole movie. Like, dude, it was just disgusting.
I did like his wife. I think it was his wife, right?
Yeah, his wife was in it. Like, I don't know if that's what you're talking
about. The most
but
interesting part of the entire movie was when why is it peaking still? Hang on.
We're just too fired up. We're like screaming about this thing, man.
Maybe it's the How about now? Yes, no?
Well, no.
The most interesting part to me was when he forgot who she was. And
he was like calling her a bitch.
Yeah, that part, and then she bitch slapped him. That, to me, that emotional like range where it just kind of all of a sudden went up in tension, that should have happened more than just that one time. But like, I wasn't even worried about him dying when he was shooting up his entire family. All I wanted them to do was shoot him. I felt bad
for him. Yeah, put him down. Yeah. Put him out of his misery, dude. Oh man, yeah. I just it was scary. I mean, the reason why it was so interesting when his wife slapped him is because you thought it was going to turn into like Jeepers Creepers 5. Like, he looked like something out of a horror movie, dude. He looked horrendous. Yeah. And they're like, oh, let's just, to me, this is another statement, unfortunately. It's another sad statement of just, we have to have run out of content to make movies off of. We must have, dude. We must have. Because they are digging at the bottom of the barrel. It's like, okay, what movies can we make this year, guys? They're like bringing it to the meeting. They're like, well, we got this movie about Al Capone. Like, all right, cool, crime movie. Like,
gangsters.
Well,
okay.
We can't really do it about his crime because it's already been done. But there's this like 6-year period that nobody really talks about. We can just make some shit up. Let's just say he hid $10 million. They're like, go on. Yeah, I'm interested.
You're a fucking genius,
Bill.
Bill.
Oh my god, dude. Genius. What studio even made this movie?
I have no idea.
I gotta look at it now.
I don't even know the director. I don't want to know the director.
Dude, I want to review this movie, and then this video will live on Netflix where it should stay and be locked under key forever, man. I don't ever want to watch this movie again. I don't ever want to talk about this movie again after this. This was really bad. This was so bad that Tom Hardy couldn't even save it. And he is a badass. I mean, dude, because they gave him a character that didn't even speak. What's the point of doing like a cool Italian mob boss kind of guy? Hey, we're going to retire down in Florida. We're going to do some crime.
And I hated his voice when he did speak.
Yeah, it was like, dude, I wanted to rip that fucking cigar out of his mouth, man, because he sounded like his lungs were just, he had like lungo syphilis too, man. It was just lungal syph. Yeah, it was brutal.
Yeah, I mean, there was just so much about this movie that just didn't feel genuine. And, like, the symbolism that they were putting into the movie felt like they were treating us like we were stupid. Like, it really felt like it wasn't like they were putting in, like, some deep... Like, no, it was like, it's straight up the ghost of people coming to see him, as cliche as you could possibly get. And then the guy, like, pulling out his eyeballs and like, look into my eyes.
Yeah, dude,
like,
I forgot about that.
What it was just.
I think I know where you hid that $10 million.
And then he just pulls his eyeballs out. puts them on him. The eyeballs looked great.
Great.
That was all of their entire budget right there was on those eyeballs.
On the special effects
But
on the eyeballs.
I was like, can you give me something that's real, like some sort of real dive into, if you're gonna go that route and go into the symbolism and into the human psyche and stuff, give me something real, not like a cliche that's seen in any other movie about somebody with this haunted past about people that they've killed. But
no, this movie made me mad. It made me mad because I was just waiting for the plot to thicken somehow with like the $10 million. Maybe they're going to find it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then at the end, he like goes into the swamp by his house and like the big tidal wave washes over him with all the money.
You mean
and
after he slaughtered everybody?
Yeah, like after the vision, I just didn't. It had no purpose. It had no direction whatsoever. It's like they figured out very quickly that this point in Capone's life is not interesting enough to. It doesn't have enough substance to make an entire movie off of. So they're basically like, let's just try to make him go insane, and like we'll do something with some money. I don't know, pretend there's some money so that like the FBI's there.
So it's basically been 22 minutes of us just destroying this movie.
I mean, what are we supposed to say, dude? That like, if you're watching this and you liked this movie, please tell us why. Comment down below. Just take 5 seconds, type it up real quick, and submit it.
Tom Hardy's hot.
I don't get it. Like, I just don't. I don't get it with this movie at all. I don't understand what the point was supposed to be. I don't understand why they would even make a movie about this point in Al Capone's life. And I certainly don't understand why somebody like Tom Hardy would even accept this. Like, dude, this was bad. I mean, this was really bad. Like, if these are the movies that we're getting nowadays, I am scared because this was horrible, dude.
Now, Rotten Tomatoes tore it apart too, right? If I remember correctly.
Not as much as I think they should have, but I mean the audience score, yeah. So the critic score was 41% on this, which to me is actually too high when you consider how many decent movies have scored lower than that. But the audience score was 28%. So yeah, clearly people didn't like this movie. This was not a very well-received movie.
Is there anything in this movie that you did like?
That's kind of what I was trying to think about too. Like, I'm trying to think of, okay, what did I like? The supporting acting was not bad. I mean, his wife was convincing as his wife. And, the Italian mobster guys were there. I mean, they were Italian. They had the accent. I mean, I don't even know what to say.
It felt like
I don't even know what to say.
Terrible spin-off of The Godfather with none of the good parts.
Yeah, it just felt like I'm surprised anybody would even be interested in making this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, so like imagine you're being pitched this movie. Okay, we're going to make a movie about Al Capone. Okay, well, what happens? Well, it's just his like dive into madness. We want it to be like an art piece. All right, how are you going to pull that off? Well, we're going to make him shit himself multiple times throughout the movie, and we're going to make him look disgusting, and he's not really going to speak. So that's basically that's how we're going to try to pretend this is artsy. But really, what you're just covering up is the fact that this movie had no substance whatsoever.
And the worst part is that they put in all of this symbolism and all of this stuff, all of these flashbacks to moments in his life that you only know if you know his history.
Exactly. You got to go fact check after this movie to even see if this is even real or not.
Like, if you're gonna make us go look shit up, make it good. But nobody's gonna look things up.
Let's talk about Al Capone for just a second. Because, again, I feel like this movie, to be honest, was kind of fucking insulting. Like, I'm kind of like that. Again, who are you insulting? Some mob boss who killed a bunch of people, whatever. But, like, I don't know, dude. Like, what gives somebody the right to make a movie about somebody that, like, where you speculate them just being this disgusting and this insane? Like, that seems kind of harsh.
Yeah.
Like, that seems like if it had been about, like, other people in history, people would be really mad. You know what I mean? Like, imagine if somebody made a movie like this about Einstein, but it's Einstein at the end of his life just shitting himself, going crazy, and he has syphilis, and, like, they made him look horrendous. Like, people would be pissed, dude. But let's talk about Al Capone for a second, because he's got a fascinating life. There's a reason why people want to make movies about him. He's got an incredibly fascinating life. So Al Capone, if I remember correctly, Al Capone came to America. He was either born in America or came to America of immigrant parents who didn't have a whole lot. I think his parents were decently well off before they came to America, and then they came here. They didn't have a ton of stuff. And he was born, I think, in like 1899 or 1900, like right at the turn of the century, basically. Dude, he was like heavily involved in like syndicated crime and stuff when he was like 14, 15 years old. He was a young kid. And he was running. He fell in with like the Torino family. I don't remember exactly, in Chicago, I believe. And he was basically heavily involved with crime and stuff for a long time. And of course, all these mobsters kind of got big around Prohibition. That's where like a lot of the mob and the gang business was. But he got arrested. He ended up actually getting arrested. The famous story, I think it was like tax evasion. They got him on.
Yeah. Because he
like
wouldn't
they
pay
never
his
actually
taxes,
got to arrest him for murder or anything like that.
Because he was never
tax evasion.
tied to that stuff.
No, hey, he was dude. Because when like that St. Valentine's Day massacre was happening, he was down in Florida, and he just had his. So what are you gonna do? You know what I mean? You try to connect him to it, they couldn't do it. But I mean, the guy has a fascinating life. The whole story of that mob era is incredible. There's a reason why so many movies have been made about that. But this just,
I would love to see a movie
wasn't that time.
About his upbringing and like have like 10 or 15 minutes where we see his childhood and what he was like, and then him coming here, and then flash forward to him being a teenager and seeing a little bit of that, and then seeing how he became the mobster, like growing to become Al Scarface Capone. That would be amazing. I would love to see that, a modern day movie with, today's actors and redone to really show us, a deeper look into who he was, but we got this instead.
Well, I think this movie should have been either that, or this movie should have been, if you're going to make a movie about this time in Al Capone's life, then just bite the bullet and say that the whole thing is kind of bullshit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, make it about, like, have Al Capone get released from prison, show him getting out of prison, and make him scary and angry, and he's a little bit insane, and then show him, like, still trying to conduct some organized crime, and, like, one of his mob boss buddies, they're, like, kind of fighting, but he doesn't even know if he's real or not, and he's, like, kind of seeing visions of him, like... Have him do that and kind of go out with a bang, but don't just show this like disgusting spiral into this like horrible end of life period that he has where he can't take care of himself or anything. Yeah. Nobody wants to watch that.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know, man. I have a hard time picking out positive things about this movie. It's like we watched it and here it is. But if you watch this movie and you really liked it, I am fascinated to know why. Fascinated, because I don't get it. This was bad. This is a bad movie, man.
So then, what would you give it? Because I feel like you're gonna give it higher than I am.
Dude, man. I mean, again. This was supposed to be like, that's the thing. Like, are we even supposed to rate this as a crime movie? Because it wasn't. There was no crime being committed. So it's not really a crime mystery. And it's not really a mobster movie because it's almost like you're just watching like damn, like, dude, like just like a documentary about him. Like, I don't know. To me, this movie as a drama and as just kind of like a depiction of Al Capone's insanity. Sure. So as a drama, I still think it was very bad. I didn't like it at all. I'm going to give this one a 2. It gets a 2 from me. I didn't see the point. Like, I'm only giving it a 2 because it's like, I mean, there were actors and actresses, you know what I mean? Like they were there. They put a movie together. There was some substance to it. And there was the clothing and the timepiece kind of stuff was pretty cool. And that's fine, but there was just nothing good about this movie to me. It was just really bad. Really, really bad. So it gets a 2. It gets a 2 from me. So what do you think? I mean, what are you going to give it?
The story was slow. The story was really, really slow and borderline pointless. I didn't hate the cinematography. I thought there were some expertly composed shots that were well done. There was an attempt at directing. It just was, I think, a little too far left field for what this film was. Like, it was just a bizarre concept overall to try and create a film like this. The acting wasn't terrible, but he didn't sell me on Al Capone as being like he didn't seem like Al Capone to me. And then they tried to have like some family, like, because Italians are all about family, and so they tried to have these moments in the film where they're having dinner together, but I didn't give a fuck about any of the characters at the table. Not even the little girl, because she was not good at selling me on the one line that she was like, I care about Grandpa Capone.
I'm thankful for my Uncle Al.
Yeah,
Grandpa Al.
And it was just like, whoa, he just shit himself not even 2 minutes ago, and we're still recovering from that, so... And he just shot everybody. Like, we don't care. That was just a terrible placement for that line. Overall, just poorly written. I'm not going to give it a 2, because I saw some essence in there, but I am going to give it a 3.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Too much mama, not enough Mia. You know what I mean?
Yeah, forget about it.
Mamma Mia.
If you're planning on watching this, forget about it.
That's it, man. So this is a funny one. I mean, it was almost comedic, and you're right. I think the closing statement, unfortunately, would just be that Tom Hardy didn't sell me that he was Capone. I didn't. There was no need for him to be the actor in this.
Yeah.
You know, there was no real lines for him. He's just grumbling and kind of being gross the whole time.
Plenty of other actors that could have played. Yeah,
Definitely. That's it. You got anything else for Capone?
I really, really don't.
That's it. Sorry, guys. I mean, I wish we had more for you. You know our episodes, we usually try to pick the positives and the negatives. It was really hard with this one. Let us know what you think.
I try.
Maybe
I try really hard to find
Yeah,
the
I did
positive
too.
in
I
everything.
have notes about it, and they're pretty much all negative.
Yeah.
But listen, if you liked this movie, drop it down below. If you agree that this was horrible, please give us a thumbs up. Or, you know, if you're watching this and you like what we have to say, give us a subscribe. We really appreciate it. But that's it. That was the Critic and the Common Man's review of Capone, you know? Old Al Scarface. I'm sure he's rolling in his grave watching this one, man. This was hard to watch, but that's it. All right, you guys. Critic and the Common Man review of Capone. We're out of here. Peace.